Good morning, ETH Denver. There we go. My name is Retro, and I'm here to deliver the state of the DAO for MakerDAO. Reviewing the agenda this morning, we're going to briefly introduce everybody who's new from Web 2 to Web 3, what Maker is, and start exploring the growth of the DAO a little bit. From there, we'll take a deeper dive into SES. That's the core unit that I'm a part of. If you're not sure what core units are, don't worry. We'll make sure to cover that in today's talk. And from there, we'll talk about the projects we have going through the rest of the year into 2023. So first, let's meet your Maker. Maker is the primary protocol on Ethereum that is producing DAI. We are decentralized and permissionless, and any user with an ERC20 wallet can mint DAI from the collateral that they have. The stablecoin is soft pegged to $1, and that is the DAI token. The MKR token is then used for governance, for impacting and voting on proposals that are introduced to the protocol. I want to quickly touch on a great milestone that our team celebrated 2 Mondays ago. We minted our 10th billion DAI as a project. This is also, there we go. This is also important because over the past year, we have been operating as a true decentralized DAO. From February to February, we've seen about a 5x growth in the supply of DAI, and our first billionth DAI was minted back in November of 2022. So just about 15 months to 10x, and about 12 months to 5x. But why is that important? That's important because, like I said, most of this growth was facilitated from independent teams contributing to MakerDAO as core units. The core unit framework is a part of the MIP framework. This is a collection of proposals that is voted on and accepted by governance in order to dictate how the protocol grows, changes stability fees, accepts collaterals, and overall manages the organization. The core unit framework is specifically 3 MIPs. They are MIP 39, which is the overall core unit framework, but more importantly, it defines the mission of any core unit applying to MakerDAO. The second one, or MIP 40, is the budget framework. That's the MIP that requests a specific budget to accomplish a specific goal that MKR holders have to approve. And then the last one is the facilitator framework, which simply defines who is leading the core unit, the individual. So 1 year ago today, we didn't have any core units. That was because the framework was being voted on as well as the first 3 core units that was up for the March cycle. So starting in March, we had 3 core units. Progressing throughout the year to quarter 2, we added several across many different domains, specifically business operations, outreach, government, and the product teams. And then from there, the year continued to progress. We continued to add more teams until this is including some that were voted in January, but we'll call it the end of Q4 for 2021, with a total of 21 core units. Now, I have called out our core unit, or the one that I'm a part of, SES. That is the strategic, the Sustainable Ecosystem Scaling core unit. And the reason that I wanted to point that out on this slide is because there's 4 core units with graduation hats. A primary deliverable that our core unit has is the incubator, because we believe that a part of growing the scalability of the DAO is encouraging outside teams to come in. Specifically, our mandate is defined as sustainably growing the Maker protocol's moats by removing barriers between decentralized workforce, capital, and work. So let's break that down just a little bit for a second. When we talk about decentralized workforce, we're talking about contributors, both anon, maybe token holders, maybe new individuals, maybe devs since 2017, or maybe somebody like me who's more of a business professional that recently joined within the past year. Decentralized workforce requires capital in order to facilitate work. And these 3 pillars of scalability are usually separated, but SES tries to bring them together through research, grants, and incubation. So for research, we have been working on several projects. Our core unit was ratified in May, so that means from May of 2021 until today. We've provided information to the DAO through several different projects. Touching on the research projects, we've invested a heavy amount of effort into developer attraction, onboarding, and retention. This is Project X-Ray that our team has presented on a couple times throughout this conference week. Another research project that we're taking on is transparency controls. This includes transparency and quality controls. This includes things like budgeting, as well as reporting the work that the core units are doing to governance. And anytime that our permanent team at SCS cannot facilitate the research ourselves because we need to bring in outside expertise, we have the ability to leverage a grant. We'll touch on a little bit of the value that grants has given the DAO in just a minute, as well as touch on some of the teams that we're incubating. But more importantly for the incubator, this is really where we see the connection between workforce and work happen by facilitating an on-ramp for some of these outside contributors to come in. And then we wrap all of this work with advisory by leading by example, setting reporting standards that we hold ourselves accountable to, and encouraging other core units to report along the same guidelines. So, taking a deeper dive into X-Ray, we had the initial goal to understand what it meant to provide the best and most successful onboarding experience for developers. Developers being a key part of the Maker protocol. We reached out to about 520 developers across 140 different ecosystems, and what we found was that attraction, onboarding, and retention had several pillars that need to be facilitated in order for Maker to be the best landing spot for new devs. The attraction part of onboarding contributors starts with Twitter. The majority of respondents identified that Twitter is their primary source for going out into the marketplace and getting information about any projects related to Web 3.0. From there, we have to make sure that there's a way that they can have their questions answered, whether it's documentation or by providing, again, a resource for them to interact with, whether it's through the forums in an async manner, or actually being available to answer their questions as they reach out. Once somebody has been attracted and we need to start onboarding them, this process needs to be hands-on. They're, again, learning, potentially they're learning a new language or a new methodology for, excuse me. Potentially, these candidates are exploring something new for the first time. So having an ecosystem that is able to support them fully is going to not only onboard this talent the quickest in order for them to start producing results, but also retain them. Again, with retention as well, the work needs to be stimulating. People aren't coming to Web3 to continue doing the same work over and over. They want to be working with new technology, and they want to be working with some of the best communities that are out there. Maker community for the win. Thank you. All right. So to compare and contrast research to grants, grants are research projects that involve outside experts. So for this grant project titled Real World Sandbox, we invited industry expert Luca Prosperi, who's been a 15-year investment banker, to facilitate for us a framework to turbocharge our efforts to attract real-world assets. What this document produced is an in-depth, about 12-page review of what Maker is and how we can attract real-world assets onto the protocol. And it suggested strategies for reorganizing our current core units for this explosive growth. what the research project also turned into was an opportunity for Luca to launch his own core unit. So we're starting to see this cohesive engine being built from research being defined, projects being identified, resources being identified, but now they need an on-ramp to permanently contribute to the DAO. If, for example, Luca wanted to launch his own core unit, he would have to navigate the MIP set, navigate governance, draft a bunch of documents, and learn about some history that may be buried specifically in forum posts, Twitter, or a variety of other platforms. What the SES incubation concept does is it allows a experienced person to benefit from other experienced people for Maker. So our team is constantly delivering education, workshops, and guiding these new contributors through the resources that Maker has in order for them to launch a successful campaign to be onboarded as a core unit. Our incubator has been running for about 9 months, and we have graduated 4 alumni, some of which you may run into today around ETH Denver. Specifically, the Dux core unit, focusing on the UX experience for governance. The Immunify security core unit, who is amplifying our abilities to compete for offering bounties as well as securing our own infrastructure. There's the Sidestream core unit, which is investing effort into improving the UI for our auctions and liquidation systems, which is a key feature of the protocol. And then TechOps, which is improving our maturity as an organization that monitors and watches the health of the protocol. We also have 5 teams currently incubating. One of them is up for a vote this current cycle, which is Maker Talent, meaning that in the next couple weeks, we could have our 22nd core unit being added to the DAO. So again, touching on Immunify, I wanted to do a quick plug for their core unit. They recently just launched the largest bug bounty in DeFi, a $10 million bug bounty for Maker. Please feel free to scan your QR code or Google a little bit later to see how you can participate. So that leaves me for the road ahead. A lot of the stuff that I just touched on was focused on building the DAO from 0 core units to the appropriate number needed to support all the functions. Where do we go from here? Well, the number one thing is continuing to grow the number of contributors that are working in the DAO. The outreach specifically focuses on Maker Talent, again, providing that facilitated on-ramp for people interested that want to work for the DAO. But it also includes something that we're developing called Maker Academy, which is going to reach into the resources of information that Maker currently has, build out a website and more of a centralized environment for core unit facilitators to build their own courses, as well as Maker Academy to build courses to deliver information to not only the Maker community, but DeFi at large. We're also looking at reorganizing our incubator. Currently, of last year, you saw that we were able to incubate, I think it was 9 teams, or we're working with 9 teams over the past 9 months, but we really need to scale that up. So what we're looking at doing is, instead of incubating teams, we're going to be focusing on the facilitator. So the facilitator can go out, be the resource for his own team, and really take ownership of that independent group of people contributing to the DAO. Another big push that we have is for real-world assets. The only way that we're going to reach 1 trillion DAI is by introducing real-world assets to the protocol. As you could see previously, we've invested a lot of research, and we're incubating core units associated with that, so we can break ground on this exciting new potential for crypto. And then last but not least, we are also working on ways for core units to collaborate a little bit better. Right now, being individual teams, it is a good competitive advantage due to the crossover of certain domains, so teams can work together on problems. But what we need for them to do is to break from their silos and support the other aspects of the DAO, such as content production and the Maker Academy, like we said, to build out a very robust system for onboarding talent. So that was the state of MakerDAO. I am Retro, like I said. There is a QR code here for a call to contributors. We are looking to grow our skills, both wide and in experience. So if there is any interest in supporting, please reach out. Thank you.